Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir Selling Gods video. Today's video is going to be an exciting one again because I managed to get a team to deal with Grave of Rot on stage 20 by using only free to obtain heroes. So I'm talking only free legendary, which is only going to be one, and then there's going to be 4 epics, right? 1 legendary and 4 epics that everybody should get for free, or actually I think you can actually pretty much either get them for free or buy them from a free shop using in-game currency, and you are going to be able to farm stage 20 of the Grave of Rot with pretty accessible stuff. So let's check it out. Now, I do want to mention before we jump in the video, as always, there's the code at the top that you can see, OddOne. You can use that to support me as a content creator. Just go to the bind to content creator page, put that code OddOne using capital O's, and it's going to help me a ton, cost you nothing, plus you're going to get some free stuff by doing that. But let's have a look at the team that I'm actually using, as it's a pretty fun one. So the team that I will be using is going to consist of Thorin, which everybody gets. Then we have Thea, which again everybody gets for free. Rava can be bought from one of the shops. Then we have Vidimir as one of the damage dealers, and then the other one is gonna be Rowena, right? So pretty much relevant stuff, most of the things that most people as heroes, everybody can get them. You're gonna see I don't even have max I don't even have max talents on them, so there's obviously gonna be place for improvement. I did a pre-recording before of this one just to kind of make sure that it works, because it does have certain layers of RNG. The reason for that is the boss does those hits over here at random, and if people are not tanky enough, he might kill them, right? If there's too many debuffs and whatnot. But there's one way that I'm kind of building over here to try and do it to make it be sustainable, and that is built around the mechanics of the talents and skills from specific Thor. Now, what am I talking about is going to be the talent that you can use on I think most of the healers have the same talents as the middle row, and that's the one that kind of gives us we're gonna see once Thorin does ultimate, see that little buff over there, that's 10% damage mitigation. That helps us stay alive. Without that, it can be tricky. I mean, even with that, look at how low Vidimir got to, right? So if extremely bad RNG happens and the boss does this hit 3 times on the same person, then yeah, one of your damage dealers might actually be dying, and that's gonna be problematic. But obviously with time this can be improved. You can swap some of your damage dealers. You can bring whoever are your best 3 damage dealers instead of these ones. Just always keep in mind when you're bringing people that push back ultimate energy, or people that put recharge speed penalty, or even Frozen that also does the recharge speed penalty. That's really important to keep in mind, because if you do that, then the rotational skills that I'm going to show, right, that you're going to see that people do over here, the rotations might be a little bit quirky and a little bit different. I'm surprised now, why did I get that attack down? I don't understand how that one happened. I should have had this up, but I guess you know what, it's still a little bit of the RNG of this one. But all in all, this team works, right? It's going to be slow, but at the end of the day, it is stage 20, and it's also, a free option, right? I don't get why I keep getting that, right? Why do I keep getting that debuffs on myself? Oh, I think there was something that happened that made the boss just move slower, because it seems like we're losing that debuff immunity before the boss does the last hit. So I guess that is a little bit of a subject to RNG, which again, I don't get it, right? I don't see what's happening. However, you see we're still on track, right? We're still slowly getting there. The boss should slowly be getting to the point where it's dead. The first hit is the one that's problematic with the poisons and recharge speed penalty. That's the one that can make it fail. But you know what? Even with that, right? Even with the bad RNG of this happening, we're still doing fine. We're still slowly getting there. It's not going to be fast again, because you know what? It's the bare minimum of heroes that I have that I'm using for this team. Now, once this one's done, I'm going to show you the skill timings, because they can be really important. And then at the same time, I'm also going to show you, obviously, the builds that I have on all of these people, because they're really important, right? You really need to see, specific stats for accuracy, specific stats for damage and whatnot. But let's have a look. First of all, how long did it take us? It took me 3 minutes and 3 seconds. You know what? For free heroes only, I don't think that's a bad time. The damage is split between Rowena, Vidimir, and Rava, and then, a little bit of something on the other ones. But let's have a look at the skill timing. So When we're looking at the skill timings, you're going to see everybody is going to be on an 18-second recharge time. That's really important because that's the full rotation of the boss, and that's what you want to do. When it comes to Thea, you're going to let her do default, which means as soon as she has the ultimate, you want her to do that because you want to land the debuff immunity. If the boss manages to land that hit on you with recharge speed penalty and the poisons, it can be complicated. So it's going to be a bit quirky, trying to squeeze out a ton of skill haste on Thea, but that's, you know, that's what's kind of gonna help. Maybe it can work if you don't land it initially, but it just makes it gonna be, you know, a little bit more difficult. So she does it as soon as possible. Then Thorin, I kind of found the sweet spot for Thorin to be 13 seconds because that way he heals a little bit before the boss does the second hit, which is that AoE hit that can crash on several people and kill them. And then at the same time, it happens after that hit lands. And that way he's not only gonna heal your people, but he can put that damage reduction on them so that you don't get, you know, a little bit of extra damage mitigation so you don't get killed. Next one's going to be Rava. Rava I put at 16. Pretty much I was aiming to go with the time after the boss does the second hit, because the more debuffs you have on the boss when he does the second hit, the more hits he will do with that one, and the higher the chance he's gonna kill you. So the later you use Rava, the better, and then the 2 damage dealers, they can go at whatever time, but preferably you want to leave them a few seconds after Rava does this, so you can guarantee that she lands the frost and the the defense penalty from the witch's remains. Now, one key thing is really important to keep in mind that I did not mention. You see that I have 2 people that actually do invisibility. It's Thea, and this happens only, right, the invisibility and debuff immunity, only because we are all ranged units. Keep that in mind, they have to be ranged, otherwise this specific tactic doesn't work. So she puts invisibility, and then also we have Thorin putting invisibility. Why is that important? Well, the way that the boss's mechanic works is if you have invisibility, the boss cannot target and devour anybody. So you don't care about needing to bring healing prohibition, healing reduction, whatever. You don't care about putting any other stuff to deal with this. Nope, the boss will never devour anybody, which means you should easily be doing the damage out there as he's not going to be healing. So that's why, if you know, a team like this is actually working. Now, let's quickly go through the builds, starting with the talents as always. Middle way with Thorin, again, this is the one that I'm talking about. After healing, grants 10% damage reduction for 5 seconds to the heal target if they are ranged units. Again, you want to have them all ranged, just, you know, all the reasons for them to be ranged. Then talents for Rowena, you see it's, you know, I barely have anything, so there's lots of space for improvement. Vidimir is maxed out because, you know what, he's the king of damage dealers when it comes to, like, you know, free to obtain ones. He's pretty much almost on par with exclusive legendaries with the amount of damage he can do, so definitely everybody should be building out a Vidimir. Then we have Thea, same thing, went on the middle ground, and then again with this one, because she's mostly there to bring those debuffs, a bit of healing, and if she can bring damage reduction, even better. Then the last one's gonna be Rava. Rava obviously again missing talents, but we'll go down the bottom side, and that's pretty much all the builds. And obviously every single person is gonna be fully skilled up, which, you know what, it shouldn't be that hard because it's only 1 legendaries and 4 epics, right? There should be plenty of epic scrolls to scroll them that you should not have an issue. Now, let's start looking at their builds. So Thorin is gonna be in Ancestral Protection, and then he's running the Horn. You don't necessarily need the Horn on Thorin, just it helps if you want, you know, with doing a little bit of extra damage, so you can use any other artifact that you want. If you don't have the Horn, but you have the Gatekeeper Staff, this one's gonna be good as well, because, you know what, if he overheals, he's gonna give you shield, so this one can work just fine. If not, just whatever's your best artifact that you have, that's what you're gonna use. Then if you look at Rowena, she has the free artifact that we get, right, the Unyielding Obsession one from the Divine Ascetic event. Doesn't get a benefit from here, but we get the crit rate and attack. And then I'm gonna have crit damage weapon over here, and then a couple of the mythic ones with the, you know, getting a little bit of bonus damage in there. You're gonna see that Rowena's total stats are gonna be like this: attack, crit rate, crit damage. I would like this to be 100%, but, you know, it is what it is. That's what I have for now. Vidimir, you can see lower attack, lower crit damage, lower crit rate. I just threw whatever I had on him. Unfortunately, I don't have enough Essence of Creation to roll up the lower level stuff, right? Because I'm not on that server, I'm on my actual account, so I'm just using whatever artifacts I have ready. But if you don't have, you know, this one, just whichever is your best damage artifact, that what you use. Either be it Eyeball, either it being, the Horseshoe, anything that you have that's gonna give you the most damage, that's what you're gonna do. And then Vidimir again, crit rate glove over here, another fearless challenge, and Chaos Symbiosis, so pretty standard. Then if you look at Thea, Thea's a bit quirky because for Thea, you want to spam as much skill haste as you can. And ideally, this is the one that makes it easy. The Rift Hourglass is the one that makes it to be the easiest to hit that high skill haste. I think you need around 80 maybe or to 100 so you can do the ultimate before the boss goes. However, if you cannot quite manage to do that, there's another way. If you look over here, skill haste, there's only 2 artifacts that do that, right? You can, if you have the Gatekeeper staff, you can try and put that on her. But if you don't have the Rift Hourglass, the way you can try and do it is you can go with Spiritual Incense Burner, make sure it's maxed, and then see if you can survive the first hit, and then have her after the ultimate do this, and then you should be just fine. But this one, you know what, it doesn't help actually because she has a really low recharge time, so you want to try and push skill haste as much as possible. I have on her the Puppeteer set, but if you don't have the Rift Hourglass, which is the third mythic artifact or second mythic artifact that I suggest to everybody to get, then you can try and just push as much skill haste on her by getting 2 pieces from here, 2 pieces over here. So for example, you'd get 2 pieces of, let's have a look, 2 pieces of Radiance of the Blue Oak to get 20 skill haste. And then at the other ones, you get 2 pieces of, let's see, which is the other one. The other one I think is Cyril's Whisper. I can find again skill haste. So just match 2 of those. Don't care about getting a full set. Get 40 skill haste from there, and then try and push as much skill haste as you can from the positive and the negative rune. You can say I have triple over here, triple over here. So you know I'm doing pretty good with that. So if that's the way you're gonna do it, then just instead of having Puppeteer on her, you'd put the Puppeteer on Tauren, right? You put the Puppeteer on Tauren, and that way when you do the ultimate, Tauren can be on the 18-second recharge as well. Otherwise, you're going to need to try and get to 55 skill haste with Tauren. So, hope that makes sense. A bit more quirky, but I wanted to explain everything so that you understand exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. Obviously, because I don't need that, for me, I put Puppeteer on her because I have the Rift Hourglass, then Tauren can stay in the Ancestral Protection. And then the last one in the team, which is going to be obviously Rava, she is going to be running the Witch's Remains, obviously the defense penalty in there. Enough accuracy to land her stuff. You need 300 to land it on the boss. You get 50 from the elemental affinity bonuses. I have 239. That's okay, right? It's okay because she does hits over several seconds. And then she's also running the Puppeteer's Inspiration because boosting that ultimate energy for the Frost ones, which is going to be her, Vidimir, and Rowena, means everybody can get on that 18 seconds rotation without needing to get to 55 skill haste. You're gonna see again, I just put a crit rate glove over here just to try and get her to do a little bit more damage. And now let me also show you the bonus that I have over here just to see what I'm working with, right? So obviously I have all the first ones for the 3 elemental, but I also have the 5 elemental one that gives me some damage resistance. I have this up to 14%. That's really important to keep in mind because you saw how quirky it can be with surviving, and even like this, it was a bit scary. If you see that you still struggle, try to get over here defense with some defense percent, right? Try to get the negative rune to be survivable. If you get around 2000 defense, right, on both of your people, the squishier ones especially, you should be able to survive this whole fight and not worry. And obviously RNG, it's the RNG. If you still see that you have an issue, then maybe move the damage dealers, especially like Rava, maybe move her at like 17 seconds, right? You can do that, and then by doing that, Rava should land the defense penalty after the boss does this, right? Because again, selects one random target, then transfers debuffs, also selects one extra target for each debuff. So you're going to see that the boss is going to be doing now 3 hits, right? The quirky thing and annoying thing is I don't have specifically accuracy on Thea, but she still lands that healing prohibition. I hate that, but that's, you know, that just makes the boss hit 1 extra time. And that happens because I have the Rift Hourglass on her, right? But you're going to see the boss is going to do 4 hits. Let's see, can I put in 1 speed? 1, 2, 3, 4. See, depending on how many debuffs the boss has, that's how many hits it's going to do. So definitely keep that in mind, as it might allow you to be able to do the right mechanic and the right rotation. But we're going to leave it at this for today. Thank you for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.